When the Trojan troops reached the Xanthus River, Achilles, the great Greek warrior, split them into two groups. Those of the Trojans that went into panic fled back to the city. But Hera sent fog in front of them to slow them down. The rest of the troops were then crammed into the river, and they all fell into the deep currents, making a huge commotion. They were all sucked down the currents, screaming.
Achilles jumped in the stream with only his sword and started killing the Trojan warriors. The stream soon turned blood red. When Achilles' arms grew weary from the killing, he plucked out of the river 12 young men alive as a blood payment for the killing of Patroclus.
After Achilles took the 12 boys back to the Greek ships, he returns into his killing frenzy. And there he spots Lycaon, one of the sons of Priam. He goes up to him, and Lycaon quickly goes to his knees and pleads that Achilles shall spare him. He famously says the words, "Don't kill me, since I am not from the same womb as Hector, who killed your gentle, valiant friend." Of course, the son of Priam was talking of Patroclus. Achilles, then in rage, says some choice words and swings his sword and hits Lycaon in the collarbone.
Achilles is confronted by Asteropaeus and then states, "Who are you with the nerve to face me, and where are you from? It's your parents' loss." Asteropaeus, being ambidextrous, had two spears in his hand. One missed, the other grazed Achilles' forearm. Achilles then throws a spear, but misses also. He draws his sword and furiously charges. Soon after, Asteropaeus lies in the river with his guts spilled out.
Upon Achilles and swept away the many victims of Achilles. The wall of water arched high and pushed against Achilles' shield. Achilles called out to Zeus for help as the river kept overtaking him. Poseidon and Athena responded that it is not Achilles' fate to be vanquished by a river. Hera called to her son Hephaestus, as she was terrified that the great river would sweep away Achilles. Hephaestus kindled his fire, and it swept across the plain, burning the dead. The plain was parched and the dead consumed. Then the fire moved toward the river. The river itself burned and pleaded with the god. "Hephaestus, no god can oppose you." The river continued to burn, and the water boiled. Then his words rose up to Hera. "Hera, why has your son singled me out?" Sat on Olympus, taking in the gods' quarrels, laughing. Ares began with an assault on Athena, stabbing at her with a spear. Athena responded by throwing a huge piece of granite at him, catching him in the neck. Ares fell, and Aphrodite comes in to help. Hera takes notice and tells Athena to attack Aphrodite. Athena happily punches Aphrodite in the breast.
Meanwhile, Poseidon challenges Apollo, but Apollo refuses to fight over mere mortals. His sister Artemis taunts him and tries to encourage him to fight, but Hera overhears her and pounces on her.
Meanwhile, Achilles was still killing Trojan men and horses. Old Priam stood on Troy's sacred walls, ordering the gatekeepers to allow the army to enter before Achilles could. Apollo leapt out to keep Achilles from Troy. Achilles was at the back of all Trojans. Agenor taunted Achilles and tried to throw his javelin at him, but it bounced off Achilles' shin. Achilles then was going to charge Agenor, but Apollo denied him victory. He took Agenor out of the battle in a curtain of mist. The Greeks would have taken Troy if not for Apollo lifting Agenor. After taking care of Agenor, Apollo disguises himself to look identical to Agenor himself, in order to distract Achilles and prevent him from killing more Trojans. Oh, hello. I didn't see you right there. Well, let me introduce myself. I'm a Greek mythology historian, and my name is Francesco. I'm here to talk to you about the themes and the literary devices in Book 21 for the Iliad. So, let's start this off. So, the dynamic flow of the river of Xanthus basically mirrors the way in which Achilles... in which it basically mirrors the way in which Achilles takes on all of his enemies. Oh, hello again. Let me set this down a second. Well, you may remember me from that last clip of when we were talking about Iliad chapter 21 themes and literary devices. Well, I'm here to talk again about the story of Lycaon's return and death, and how it underscores basically the uncertainty of death itself. So, this basically also shows how Achilles, he has changed so much from when he first captured Lycaon, and how he used to be very merciful, and now, after the death of his dear friend Patroclus, he has turned to a raging maniac. Thank you, dear Bradley. Let's see, where did I leave off of? Oh yes, that's right. So, basically, the way the river god protests and is very angry at Achilles shows Achilles basically his immense power. And the fact that Achilles disobeys this god shows how he has such a great sense of glory, and in the way he thinks he's more immortal than any other man in his troop. Hello there, Jason. So, where do we leave off? Yes. So, the engagement of all the gods when they got into their huge battle themselves demonstrates that the story is moving into basically its climax, if you will. And all the gods are against one another, making war on heaven and earth. And then remember how Aphrodite flees from the scene? Well, this is similar to how Paris did in an earlier chapter. And what's very ironic about this, it's quite ironic, if you will, and it's how the two people who pitted this battle together and basically started this battle are the two that are fleeing from the battleground.
Your espresso, sir.
Thank you, kind and lovely Bradley. Now, I must hurry because we are heading home, back upstairs. You can accompany me on my voyage. But I have one more thing I would like for you to talk about. I would like to talk about to you guys. So, I basically want to... I'm done with this right here. Basically want to talk about Apollo's... You can come up, don't be shy. Apollo's distraction and how it is necessary to prevent Achilles from slaying more Trojans. So, Paul can only give a limited amount of support to the Trojans because of Zeus's plan to give Achilles all the glory. So this highlights the theme of gods interfering with mortals' lives, and the theme of, if you would say, yes, honor and glory. So soldiers can live on through legends. Oh shoot, this is the playroom. Bed's over here.